Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you on this daily Hindu last video in the morning. These videos come in the evening, the MCQ lessons they come. So many crucial issues are coming. The corporate tax revisions, this is the biggest decision of the day, and many announcements are being done, and this is in that series. Day before yesterday, they announced that some indices regarding the rural economies, they will be changed, they will be revised, updated, and after three decades, these things are happening. And now a huge decision regarding the corporate sector. Corporate sector's tax, that is a direct tax, that is the major contributor in government's earning. Now government is ready to compromise there, and around 10% decline is there in the tax rates there. So it's a huge decision, and when we talk about privatization in the country, then it can be the major step there, because it's a clear support to the corporate sector there, and they want them to grow, they want the investments to grow, but are these aspirations are going to be fulfilled? That we need to see. So let's start the lesson, follow both these important lessons there. PDF you are getting on the said sources every day, and Pocket News app is trending on Google Play. You can download that regarding these courses. The description is given below the video, and you can call on these numbers, and the chat section is available here, and all important courses are available. PDF you will get here on this Facebook group, and the Telegram challenge link you will also find there. You can follow me on Instagram too, and first article is important for GS paper 2 and 3 both. Putting more money in the hands of rural households will stir up the economy. Means, you see, the wages are decided according to the inflation conditions and all these in all these things. Like central government gives the dearness allowances to the employees, and that's based on some inflation issues in the consumer price indexes and all. But in the rural economy, these baskets of the items, those were not updated for the last 3 decades, and that's really concerning, because that's heavily ignored area. Mainly poor people are living there, so in practical terms, very less people in the authorities, parties and governments, they are concerned about their condition, and the upliftment has not been there. Even the rural economy is going through the worst crisis, agriculture is going through the worst crisis, and the rural demand is totally shattered, and that's why this boost was needed. And it is a kind of an emergency condition in the rural economies, that the demand must be there, at least in some form, but that is not there. So the Narega issue, as many experts were suggesting in this way, that Narega payments must be revised towards upside, and some more money government should put into Narega budget, so that the rural demand can be created. Otherwise it is going to be devastated for sure. And already a crisis is going on. Many suicides are being committed every day, so we have to address that. And now it comes to affecting the main economic condition of this country. That's why this revision in the consumer price index of agricultural laborers, that's going to change. So the labor bureau, that is also important contributor here when it comes to industrial workers and the laborers there. So their price indexes are updated by them, so they will help here. And there's this after 3 decades they are gonna update the basket there. So food basket is the main component of that, because they mainly are living lives on a very basic levels, like subsistence farming is happening, and the basic requirements are there, and mainly they spend on the food items. So that must change. Okay, and when these things will be updated, then they have to upgrade the wages also. Per day wage is 778 rupees per day under Narega, and under the national average wage condition, because the codes are being made now, the labor code, wage code, and these industrial code and all, and this is how they need to revise that. So it's an important boost, it's a needed boost. And the problem was that whatever announcements were there, whatever changes were being discussed, whatever problems which were reported, the numbers, the growth numbers, all are centered on the urban economic issues and the corporate tax structures, corporate progresses, MNCs, PSUs and all. rural economy was not the major stakeholder there. Now this boost which is given, that's really important, and hopefully this will be done within this fiscal year, or maybe the next fiscal year it will be implemented. So it's a sense of urgency that suggests the government, and it is gonna give a fillip to the rural economy, and as a critical tool it will give, because the rural demand, when it will be there, then it's certainly gonna affect, because more than 70% people, they are living in rural areas, and their economies also are also very, very important. Their basic demands, that affects the FMCG sector also, that affects the simple manufacturing industries also. So they are heavily affected when this demand crisis is going on, especially in the rural economies. So that may get a boost, so that's good. Next, a deep cut, tax cuts. As I told you, corporate taxes, the direct taxes, their tax, GST is the indirect tax, corporate tax is the direct tax. A major cut in that, that's really concerning. You see, when they were announcing that we will take 30% slab to 25% gradually, then there were a lot of elations in the corporate community. Means 30% was the standard slab for the corporate taxes. Now, when they decided that gradually we will take this 30% to 25%, then it was a huge thing for the corporate sector. Now, from 30% they are taking it to 22%. Means when the companies are not availing any exemptions which are normally given in various forms, if they are not availing these exemptions, then the rate would be 22%, and that's really huge. And after these adjustments and some surcharges and all, the effective tax rate, which was close to 35%, that will be now around 25%. So it's around a 10% revision there. And similarly, the companies who are incorporated after October 1 this year and till March 31, 2023, means next 4 years. So for them the tax rate will be as low as 15%. 15%. Can you imagine that? Means the middle class is gonna cry over this issue, because they are supported nowhere. No tax revisions, no slab revisions, no concerns for their progress issues and their dearness allowances issues and the pay commission issues. Nowhere they are getting any relief, and here the corporate sector is getting consistent support. You see, they have written off many loans, like major amounts, like in lakhs of crores of rupees. They have written off their corporate loans, which became MPAs, and now these tax revisions. So already the corporate sector is extremely happy over this issue, and the India Inc., which is the main corporate houses, the body and all, the India Inc., as we collectively say it. So India Inc. is extremely happy, but the economists, they are extremely concerned about this issue, because they have to think about the economy as a whole, all the important categories, like the middle class, like the poor class and the rich class. And we know it is a unequal country, and the inequality condition is so huge that 1% people have 60% of wealth. And who are these 1% people? Mainly these are corporateers and the industrialists. So when this will be the condition, this kind of support will be there, then nothing can be better for them. But it can be very worse for the middle class, especially because they are the taxpayers and they are getting blow from all the sides. Jobs are a major concern for the middle class, for their young kids. Jobs are the major issue. But today the economic crisis is of such a scale that instead of additional jobs, there are job cuts. So that's really concerning for the middle class, and here the support is there for corporate sector. So in which way these things are gonna be unfolding, we have to see, but economists say that the actual need which is there, that the demand side must be supported, means the demand must be created. That is not there in the economy, and that's why the supply is not there, and that's why the production is not there, and that's why jobs are not there and job cuts are happening. So we need to work on the demand. But is this gonna help? Is this tax cut is gonna help in the demand upgradation? No. This is the opinion of the economists. They say that this is not gonna help with the private investment issues, because private investments are linked with the demand, and that is unaffected, because taxes are the last step. When you have produced, you have sold, then you have earned, then you pay the taxes. So today announcing about the tax is okay, but it is not gonna result into the increased demand there. For that demand, the last step regarding the Narega, that was crucial, and here some pay revisions, some additional employments, and a consistent income to the people, tax rates, these things are going to create demand. The tax cuts are not going to create demand here. So that's the issue. And the unrealistic estimates of the tax collection by the government. In 1819, they received 13.16 lakh crore rupees as the tax revenues. This year they have estimated, means in this 1920 budget they can give estimates. These are not real numbers, these are estimates. So in estimates they are giving anything, like the 25% ambitious increase is there in the estimate, and they are saying that we will collect 16.49 lakh crore rupees. But now they are bound to announce all these announcements, and what they are saying today, these kind of tax cuts, they are certainly gonna deplete these revenues by 1,45,000 crore rupees. So instead of maintaining 13.1 lakh crore rupees, there can be a decline in the revenue, because already the GST revenues are struggling a lot. They are rarely more than 1 lakh crore rupees a month. So that's really a concern, and we need a lot of revenue for all these issues, and public expenditure is totally stuck, and that is demanded. So when they are targeting fiscal deficit of 3.3%, then these things are contrary to that. This way deficit is never going to be met, and already economists are saying this is unattainable, because they need to do unrealistic compromises, and these things are not possible in the economy. But now they are doing something which is going against this motive. So the deficit is going to rise, it is not going to come down. Now if they still stick to this demand of fiscal deficit management around 3.3%, then there is only one viable option, that is disinvestment, and that's really controversial. What is disinvestment? Disinvestment is just something, when you have economic crisis, then you start selling your rooms in your house, shops in your house. That is disinvestment, means whatever asset you were owning, you are selling that today. So the PSUs which were created decades back, their stakes they are selling consistently, and many justifications we see on social media that the PSUs and the government bodies, they are not giving any output, they are not giving any revenues, and they are not earning, and the private sector is competitive, we need to privatize more and more. So that's all a series of steps that are taking us towards more and more privatization. Whether we talk about Air India, whether we talk about HL, whether we talk about railways, banks, whether we talk about BSNL, MTNL, everywhere the sword is hanging. So there is no other option than the disinvestment, and they have targets now. Every year they celebrate these targets, and this thing is not something to celebrate on, because these are assets of the government and that they are selling. So although these things are needed and there is no better option available today, so that's why the disinvestment is happening, and more disinvestments we will see, because the earning is stopped, the revenues are stopped. So now you start selling your jewelries, your rooms, your shops in your house. So in the same way you are selling the stakes in the PSUs, because it's an economic crisis and we need money for that. RBI reserves were transferred, so those were additional support, and now disinvestment can be the next thing to revise, because they have estimated for 1,05,000 crore rupees for this year. Last year it was 90,000 crore rupees, and they may revise it further, because this is the only option left. So that's really a concern, and how they are going to manage that we need to see, because things are positive and things are negative too. Both sides are there. For corporate sector it is a extremely positive thing, and they are saying that it will boost the investment, it will boost the revenues, and the growth of this country will be there. And the economists are talking on some different lines, not all of them but many of them. Next article important for GS paper, you may say 1, certainly 2, and there can be other issues also. It is the issue of the event of Howdy Modi, September 22, Houston, Texas. There Prime Minister Modi is going to address 50,000 Indian Americans, and Mr. Trump will also be there. Event will showcase the paradoxes in the politics of the two protagonists and their primary audiences. Who are these primary audiences? You see, if Americans are living there, certainly they have connection with the motherland, but they have chosen America over India. That's for sure a truth, and the priority is given to America, and the better opportunities they found in America there. So they wanted to settle in America, and they did not want to settle there in India. That's a truth. Now, when any leader goes there from India, and it is much popularized issue, and their president says that we have a good rapport with the Prime Minister Modi, then these things are obviously very much accelerating and boosting. These things are passionate, and obviously the connection to the motherland that surfaces very easily. So that's good, and that must be there. Now the thing is that, what is the motive? Motive is a good relation, bilateral relation, and positive things we will talk about. Positive things like the LNG deal which we are going to sign there, means we are going to make investments there. The GAIL authority, the Gas Authority of India Limited, which is going to invest there in an important gas giant there, and crude oil and gas. These two things we are importing from America more and more. Every year the numbers are rising, and the Iran sanctions over there. So because of that, and the troubles in Middle East, these all things are propelling India towards America. That's for sure. And this investment, if we make there, then these imports will be easy for India, and more better relations we will have with America. So many things we will announce there, and obviously Indian Americans, they will be extremely happy with those conditions. But you see, these are more like events. The writer is making sharp remarks here. These things may be political in a sense, but certainly they are indication of some situations here. Like, people are cheering a lot, and a lot of shouting is there, a lot of hailing is there. But one thing they need to understand there, this is the country which they should hail for, and the country must not be equated with any leader, because leaders are political leaders, and political leaders have their aims, they have their motives, they have their political ambitions, like Trump has. Trump has the motive for the next year. Next year elections are there, and it is going to be the final term if he wins the election again. But if he doesn't win the election, then it is certainly going to be a huge problematic phase for Mr. Trump, because a lot he has done in these 4 years. So it is the maximum 8 years any person can remain a president of America, and for these conditions he is making some compromises there. He made some racist remarks, and he said that the people who came from outside, they go back to their countries and all. These kind of remarks he recently made, but all things were political. And his America First goal won him the last election, because today this is a frustrated world. Today it is a problematic world. Resources are less, jobs are less, struggles are more, economies are struggling, incomes are less, and inequality is rising. Rich people are getting richer and richer, and the middle class and the poor, they are becoming poorer and poorer. So that's why everyday frustrations are there. And in these frustrating times, if somebody talks in aggressive language, somebody talks in motivating and nationalistic languages, emotional languages, then people will support that leader very easily, and they will submit their votes to these people, and blind support will be there. So the blind support, these kind of leaders will always expect. So almost all the leaders today in countries who are leading their countries, they demand a blind support. And the media in many countries, that is totally committed to those people, and manipulated informations, distorted informations, agendas we see on the newspaper, as is the condition of this country, typically India. But in America, the section of media is very brave, and they are asking many tough questions to Mr. Trump face on face. And we have seen the editor of CNN, how he was asking questions, and how he was challenging many things. So a section of media is really brave there, and they have this culture there that anybody can protest. So the protest culture is very strong in America. It is not like India, that you suppress things, you suppress reports also, and you distort the information also, and you only glorify your leaders. This is not the case in America. So that's why many people will come to protest this issue also, because those are Indians, and they are very much concerned about the social fabric, the secular fabric of the their motherland, the country India. And that's why in this beautiful event, in this great event, some people will come to protest also. So that's the case. But the people who are attending these session very positively, regarding them, Mr. Varghese K. George is talking that they are cheering a lot. But what they are cheering for, and what can be the logic there, motive there for the organizers and all, those things they must remember. Because they are hailing a country, but they are also hailing a leader, and leaders are political. That's the issue. Here, the issue of citizenship. US allows dual citizenship. There are two citizenships already, like the state citizenship and the federal citizenship. So it has less problems with the citizenship. But these are official. Practically, it has many problems. Like during World War II, it jailed many Japanese Americans because it didn't believe them. So without any offenses, America jailed all these people. So practically every country wants a total loyalty and allegiance to the same country they are living in. But here these political compromises are being made. Instead of all these racist remarks, these things are hailed, like the Indian diaspora is hailed, because Modi is coming there, and they are very happy, and these things will fetch a lot of votes to Mr. Trump, because Modi and Trump, they have great personal rapport. So this thing is going to be very beneficial for Trump next year. So that's the aim that he is eyeing on, and Mr. Trump will be extremely supportive of this kind of event in these times. And instead of all those problems, you see, regarding these 50,000 people, the writer is talking that these people in America would want to support the minorities' rights, and they say that anything as a pressure from majority, that must be condemned and that must not be there. But they do not see this fact that the way of their leaders, both countries' leaders, their support is based on that majoritarian issue, and both are right-wing leaders. Conservative ways are the ways for their party lines and for their workings and all. So the thing that they are protesting in America, these things are supporting the same leaders who are gonna address this event. So that's really controversial and paradoxical, and that is something the writer is talking about. In India, the dual citizenship is not allowed. If you get the citizenship of any other country, then you are gonna leave India, because you cannot get the Indian citizenship anymore. So India is very much sensitive about that issue. So the single citizenship is there. But here, because it is all a popularity issue and the politics issue and the better relations issue, then not much sensitivity is there regarding this divided, or you may say different kind of loyalty issues, because these people are now Americans, but they are hailing India. So India would be certainly happy with that, and even the present government, they support this issue that stay in that country but be loyal to your motherland also. So that thing is certainly there. But within India, the NRC issue is going on, and the issue of majorities and their extreme loyalty to some particular government or some party in the name of the support to the country, that is going on. Means in the name of Desh Bhakti, they are actually trying to get the absolute support of those people who are hailing India as great, that they support their party also. So domestically it is happening in India, but internationally we are supporting these dual loyalties. That's a kind of a unique condition. So for India it is great, but for these Indian Americans, these things may be unwanted from the Trump administration in the future after elections. But before elections, these things are supported heavily, because these things are gonna fetch them votes there. So that's the issue, and that is why they say politics within and outside. Means within India, the issues like NRCs are going on, and the religious issues are becoming more and more sensitive day by day. The mandir issues, the masjid issues, and these the forces and the security concerns, all are there, and in the name of all these things, they are demanding the blind support there by the public to the government's steps. So domestically it is happening, but here issues are different because it's a international platform and the diaspora issues are there. So diaspora issues are very much unique in the present government's term. So that's the issue. So some more problems like the casteism issue, mainly the higher caste people who migrated from India and they settled in America, they are thinking their community issues and their particular ways of thinking. These casteist ideologies still remain, and communities are also divided on those opinions. So some things which they do not like in America, but they are carrying these things from India, those still are continuing. So these kind of controversial and paradoxical conditions are there with Indian Americans, or maybe these people who are living in other countries like UK, New Zealand, Australia. These things are present there. So we cannot ignore these facts because these things affect, and these things bring impact in their approach towards the issues. Like we can see the Kashmir issue, where opinions are extremely divided. The Hindutva groups in US, they will blindly support the present government in India, but there are sections who are looking at this issue very differently, and they are looking at this issue on secular terms and all, and secular word has become a kind of abuse in India. So that's really unfortunate, and these kind of hypocrisies or paradoxes must not be there, because with simple ways, with ideological ways and a better ethical position also, we can improve bilateral relations. It is not necessary that we support some party, we support some leader blindly, and then we think in some ideological way, and then we become divided. Somewhere we are supporting the secular ways, somewhere we are supporting extremely right-wing approach. So for India, some Hindutva groups in US, they will support the right-wing ideology for India, but in America they will protest against the majoritarianism. So that is the issue the writer is pointing on, and we need to see about the outcomes of this important meeting, because things may become political and things may become unique, but for the sake of understanding we need to see all these aspects. So that's the issue. So that's why in one line he concludes here: in Houston it will be Malayali Indian Americans, it will be Tamil Indian Americans, and there will be many other groups from North India also. So they all are cheering, but knowing not what exactly they are cheering for. They must know this. The logic must not be killed, and something which is a cheering, which is a support, that must be there, but that should not be blind. That's the gist of this article. So that's the issue. And the next article we will take in tomorrow's MCQ lesson. So I would invite you there, and we will take this article there because it's an important one. It will take some time. Regarding the facts here, we will discuss things in MCQ lesson, and you must get all the details regarding the Income Tax Act of 1961, Financial Act of 2019, and the tax rates. What are the changes there? How much important these things are for the economy? The issues of minimum alternative tax. I'm going to ask you questions in the evening, so be prepared for that and go through all these details in the PDF. So thanks a lot. Keep watching. It was Amit Saini.